Hi, good day everyone. I am Dave Marshall and I'll be your facilitator for this topic on AI declaration in thesis, a guide for all students. For the outline of our discussion, first, I will talk about AI integration in education and research, which I will explore the growing role of AI in educational and research settings. I will also talk about the introduction or basics of the risk of AI, which addresses the potential risks associated with the use of AI in education and research. I will cover some issues such as bias, privacy concerns, and others, and its implication for academic integrity. I will also talk about some ways to be a responsible user of a generative AI, which I will provide practical guidelines for using generative AI tools responsibly. Next, I will talk about Silliman University AI integration framework that will somehow introduce you or reorient, especially for Silliman University students, the comprehensive framework for the ethical and effective integration of AI, especially in the integration of AI in research. I will also share, which is the main point in this session, on declaring the use of AI, which I will discuss the importance of declaring AI usage in your thesis. I will also present a structured approach for all of you to disclose how AI tools can be utilized, ensuring transparency and accountability. And lastly, the final section, I will summarize some of the key points discussed and reinforces the importance of ethical AI integration in research. To start, generative AI, specifically its innovation impacted education. It introduces personalized learning, content creation and simulation. It augments language learning and simulation, virtual tutors and mentors. It increases creativity and expression, including administrative efficiency and research and development. It is very important to consider all the ethical considerations, address potential biases, ensure data privacy, and maintain a balance between technology and human interaction to create an inclusive and responsible educational environment. Generative AI holds the potential to revolutionize research by automating labor intensive tasks, enhancing data analysis, and fostering innovation. By leveraging generative AI, researchers, student researchers can focus more on high-level problem solving and creative aspects of their work, ultimately accelerating the pace of scientific discovery. However, we have to ensure that while we integrate AI in the conduct of our research, we should act responsibly and use it ethically. The literature reveals that the evolution and advancement of AI are both fascinating and remarkable, continuously impacting all aspects of life. As the technology continues to advance, we can expect further transformative applications in our lives, including education and research. However, as the technology continues to advance, we can also expect further inherent risk. Inherent risks in technology development and innovations can be grounded in several guiding principles such as complexity and uncertainty, human error, security vulnerabilities, resource constraint, regulatory and compliance challenges, market and adoption risks, ethical and social implications. So let me share with you some of the top risks of generative AI that are identified, especially in the academic institutions in the world. First, we have plagiarism and academic integrity. Students might misuse generative AI tools to generate content leading to plagiarism and compromising academic integrity. For example, submitting AI generated essays or assignments without proper attribution. Second, unintended bias and fair issues. Generative AI models can inadvertently perpetuate biases present in the training data, potentially reinforcing stereotypes. For example, generative AI generated content reflecting gender or racial biases. Third risk, lack of critical thinking. Excessive reliance on generative AI may discourage students from developing critical thinking skills. For example, accepting AI generated information without validating or questioning its validity. Another risk is on ethical considerations. Students may not fully grasp the ethical implications of using generative AI tools. Students may generate content that may be inappropriate or offensive without understanding the consequences. Privacy concerns. Generative AI tools may process sensitive personal information without adequate privacy safeguards. Students inputting personal data into AI systems without awareness of potential privacy risks. Dependence on technology. Over-reliance, once again, in generative AI may hinder students' independent learning and problem-solving skills. So don't rely on AI. Students relying on AI for answers without attempting to understand underlying concept is a risk of generative AI. Quality of output. Generative AI content may not always meet the desired quality standards. For example, using AI to create content that lacks depth or accuracy. Another risk is unintentional spread of misinformation. AI generated content may unintentionally propagate misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation. For example, sharing inaccurate information generated by AI tools without validating or fact checking. Another risk is on loss of creativity. Students might become overly reliant on AI for creative tasks, potentially stifling their own creativity. For example, using generative AI to generate creative work without contributing personal artistic input and inequitable access. Unequal access to generative AI tools may create disparities in educational opportunities among learners. For example, students with limited access to generative AI technology may face disadvantages compared to those with greater access. Mitigating this risk requires a comprehensive approach involving education on responsible AI use, ethical considerations, and fostering critical thinking skills among students. So, what are the different ways to be a responsible user of generative AI? Understand the technology, verify and cross check, avoid unethical use. What are some of the key actions or examples in these ways to be a responsible user of generative AI? For example, in understanding technology, take the time to understand how the generative AI tool works and its limitation. For example, you're going to learn about the technology, the good, the bad, and the ugly about it. Learn about the algorithms or even the data sources used before utilizing it. Verify the accuracy of generative AI generated content through cross-referencing with reliable sources. Search, validate, fact-check information generated by AI to ensure its reliability. Refrain from using generative AI for unethical purposes such as creating fake content or engaging in plagiarism. Use generative AI instead to enhance your productivity and creativity within ethical boundaries. Guard against bias, transparent collaboration, and respect privacy. Be vigilant about biases in AI outputs and work to mitigate them. Regularly review and adjust generative AI content to ensure fairness and inclusivity. In terms of transparency and collaboration, communicate openly with your teachers, with your classmates, your peers about the use of generative AI in shared projects. For example, clearly disclose the involvement of generative AI and collectively decide on its use within a collaborative setting, which I will be explaining further later on. Respect privacy. For example, be cautious about inputting private data into AI systems and understand the privacy implications. Read privacy guidelines. Some of the key action into this, you have to protect your personal and sensitive information when using generative AI tools. We have to educate others. We have to regularly update our skills and let's be a promoter of ethical AI practices. Let us share knowledge about responsible generative AI use with peers, with classmates, and even schoolmates. We can organize informal workshops, especially for student leaders, or discussions to raise awareness about ethical considerations in AI. Be an advocate. You might have a committee in your student body that will promote and advocate responsible use of AI and digital technology. Stay informed about the latest development in generative AI and its ethical guidelines. There are several frameworks that we could follow on. Engage in continuous learning to adapt to evolving challenges in AI ethics. Let us be advocate for the responsible use of AI within academic and our professional circles. I encourage you to participate and in any discussions and initiatives that promote ethical AI practices. In short, be empowered, equipping with the knowledge and skills and mindset necessary to understand and navigate the opportunities and challenges presented by AI. As students commit to uphold academic integrity by conducting honest and original research to a culture of trust, fairness, and excellence in your academic journey. Use AI responsibly and ethically. As we all know, Silliman University launched its AI integration framework, having five values, includes innovation and ethical use, continuous learning culture, collaboration and engagement, student-centric approach, mission-driven integration. These values incorporated in AI integration framework is also articulated in 10 principles such as embrace AI as an innovative force, prioritize continuous learning, active engagement in partnerships, prioritize ethical practices, utilize AI for personalized learning, optimize administrative processes with AI, foster responsibility and accountability, promote equitable access to AI, enhance customer service with AI, and align AI integration with Silliman's mission. In the AI integration framework in Silliman University, there is also a section that guides students, researchers, teachers, and all stakeholders in relation to research, case studies, and terminal reports. We listed do's and don'ts. What are the do's or what are the allowable and guided principle when it comes to utilization of generative AI or AI in general in research, case studies, and terminal reports? One, utilize AI for data analysis, but use AI tools for data analysis, literature reviews, and generating insights to enhance the efficiency of research processes. Consider ethical implications in using AI. Consider ethical implications when using AI in research, ensuring responsible data handling and transparent reporting. Integrate AI integrations. When you integrate AI generated recommendations into your research, acknowledging the tool potential to offer valuable insights and suggestions. What are some of the not allowed or don'ts in the use of AI in research, case studies, and terminal report? Number one, do not compromise ethical standards. Ensure that AI-driven processes adhere to ethical guidelines and research integrity. Do not overlook the value of human expertise in research. AI tools should complement, not replace, researchers' critical thinking and judgment. And third, do not blindly trust AI generated results. Verify and interpret the outputs, recognizing the tool as an aid rather than a sole decision maker. Here, I'll be sharing with you guidelines for AI declaration, especially in thesis making. At Silliman University, all thesis manuscripts and other written performance tasks must include a declaration statement. The statement should include the tools used. For example, you're using ChatGPT, Copilot, and some other AI tools. The descriptions on how the information was generated, the prompts being used, and the descriptions of how the output was used in your work. This is the template that the students can use in declaring generative AI in the conduct of their research. You can download this, even non-Sillimanians can download this template, and you can utilize this. You just have to make sure that you will acknowledge Silliman University. As shown in the template, there is a statement that I declare the following AI tools were utilized. What does it mean? It means that all of these four, for example, the AI tools, the description of how the information was generated, the prompts used, and the description of how the output was used in your work are declared. You have to take note that this template should be signed by you, the student researcher. And what does it entail? By signing this template, it means that you commit to conducting your research with integrity and originality. Second, that you pledge to use AI tools responsibly and ethically, ensuring that they support your learning and creativity rather than replacing your idea, your learning, and your creativity. Third, your signature signify that you acknowledge the use of AI generated content, crediting all sources appropriately and avoiding plagiarism in any form. By maintaining accuracy, transparency, and fairness in your work, you contribute to a culture of trust and academic excellence. It is noted that this statement must be attached in the appendix of any thesis manuscript, and it must be cited in Chapter 3 in any proposal, specifically on ethical considerations. For example, in the statement under ethical considerations, lastly, this study will strictly follow the university's AI policies and guidelines, with a focus on the do's and don'ts of using AI tools in research. The researchers will employ generative AI responsibly and ethically throughout the study. A list of AI tools will be provided using the template along with the descriptions of how information will be generated, the specific prompts used, and how the output will be incorporated in the manuscript. For details, refer to Appendix 4, Statement of AI Declaration during the colloquium stage of this study. This form will be continuously updated to include all declarations until the final submission of the manuscript. For you to visualize on how to fill out each of the template, I am showing to you an example. So for example, on how to declare AI tools, all you have to do is simply write down the name of the AI tools, including its link. For example, on the screen, it's ChatGPT, https://chat.openai.com. On number two, on the descriptions on how the information was generated. For example, you will write, generate material for background research and self-study in the drafting of this assessment. What about number three? For example, the prompt used, write a 50-word summary about the formation of the university and write it in an academic style, add references and quotations from this person. In other words, you will list all the prompts that you use in the utilization of any generative AI. And number four, on the description of how the output was used, you will say, for example, the output from the generative AI was adapted and modified for the final response. And there are other examples that are shown on the screen.
Hi, I am a student conducting my thesis. I'll walk you through Appendix 4, Statement of AI Declaration for my thesis. It details the specific AI tools I utilized and the processes involved. I used two key AI tools, ChatGPT.com and Quillbot.com. For ChatGPT, I employed it in three main tasks. First, I asked it to generate summarized content as supplementary entries in the thesis. I inputted my draft and asked for improvement to emphasize clarity. For each task, I provided specific prompts such as, in the context of my thesis, please summarize or rephrase this content for clarity, and I mentioned the desired length. I reviewed the generated output to ensure it was human readable and aligned with the thesis tone and messaging. Next, I used ChatGPT to search and suggest related research content. For this, I prompted it with specific contexts, asking it to find relevant and accessible resources like books, journals, or research proceedings. I verified each reference to confirm its legitimacy and relevance. Lastly, ChatGPT helped generate content based on specific contexts. For example, I instructed it to review my introduction about the challenges of digital transformation in higher educational institutions in the Philippines. I set specific length requirements and reviewed the generated content, making further adjustments to maintain consistency with my thesis. In addition to ChatGPT, I used Quillbot. Quillbot was used primarily for paraphrasing text. I provided the original text and used the tool to rephrase it while preserving its meaning. The paraphrased text then went through a final review to refine the wording and ensure sentence accuracy. This declaration highlights the AI tools I used and the manual checks applied, showing how I maintained integrity and coherence throughout the thesis process.
We have to be reminded also that there are AI generated content detectors. Say, for example, Turnitin, an AI detection tool which is actually integrated into MySoul in the case of Silliman University. Our intention is to help evaluate student submissions. We have to be reminded that all teachers are encouraged to use the results from these tools as a guide. Teachers may reach out to students directly. In the case of Silliman University, they can ask follow-up questions or assign additional tasks to clarify any suspicious submissions. Actually, students also can view the result in percentage once it is set in MySoul Learning Management System, like the one shown on the screen. For Silliman students, if you want to know more about AI integration policies and guidelines, go to MySoul, specifically GSC Soul Virtual Classroom in your account, and you can click AI integration policies. Once you click it, you will be brought to another virtual classroom that will details all the integration initiatives of AI to Silliman Education. You can download the guidelines, view the recordings, and view some of the initiatives and even a link to if you want to learn more about generative AI. As we come to an end in our session, I want to take a moment to reflect on why we gathered here today. Beyond the policies and guidelines, today's session was about upholding the values of honesty, integrity, and accountability in our academic journey. In an age where technology is both a powerful tool and a great responsibility, let us not lose sight of the essence of our work, our commitment to truth, originality, and the pursuit of genuine knowledge. The declaration you will make in your thesis is more than a statement. It's a promise to yourself, your peers, and the academic community. It is a testament that the trust we place in one another and the trust that future generations will replace in the work we produce. Remember, the integrity you uphold today is the foundation of the credibility you build tomorrow. Keep pushing boundaries, be curious, be creative, but most of all, be true to your purpose. Your work matters, and the way you do it matters even more. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. Thank you and good day, everyone.